What's going on, Internet? Are you ready? It's time for the Collective Gamescast, episode 44, our Final Fantasy Retrospective Part 2. We're going to talk about Final Fantasy, we're going to talk about Rogue Legacy, and we're going to talk about why lightning bugs like orgies. I'm your host, as always, the Malgadar, and with me, again, as always, my co-host, Chris. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. How about yourself?
Doing good. We're hanging out with you right here on twitch.tv/the_Malgadar, just like we do every week. Of course, if you don't hang out with us on Twitch, you suck. But, consolation prize for sucking. You can always find us on YouTube. You can also find the podcast versions. We got them on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, all your podcast apps. Search Collective Gamescast. You should find us, because nobody else's name is that long. So,
nope.
You know. We got the market cornered on way too long podcast name. Yeah. We'll talk about that another time, though. Yeah. So, Chris, we had something come up at the end of last week's episode that I think we need to address now.
All right. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, at the end of last week's episode, you kind of like sprung it on me that you had been playing Rogue Legacy.
Yeah, I played a little bit of Rogue Legacy. Yeah.
At the point we were at then, you know, we were too far along into the show.
Yes.
So we kind of had to wrap things up. But you know Rogue Legacy is my darling. So I got to know, like, what did you think of it? Like, first, you know.
It's interesting. I like the whole concept of dying and then you get to carry on your legacy with, I guess it's children, right?
Yeah.
Or some type of descendant. And then you go back in. Castle changes until you get the architects, so then you can keep it the same way. But yeah, it's very different. It's a very different game. It's kind of fun. Definitely difficult in the beginning. Like,
oh my god, yeah.
Just die. And
you last like maybe 30 seconds sometimes, and you're dead.
And at first you're like, I know I can do this, man. You just see some of the shit that you're like, no, this is not possible. Like, this is not for me, man.
Nah, it's doable. It's tough though in the beginning, man. You really got to get your butt kicked to start building up your family empire.
Yep, and that's the only downside I have is the it's tough right off in the beginning, like a point where it's like, are you trying to make me fail so that I can use this mechanic, or like what's the deal here?
Yeah, well, I think that's the idea, right? Is that like you have to start building, you know, the manor out, and you kind of advance a bit. And plus, I think the other thing is that it gives you an opportunity to try out the different classes, right? Because if you were making long, deep runs into the castle in the beginning, you wouldn't even get to try out all the classes and understand the differences between them.
No, you just stick with that one class and like, I only want this class.
Yeah. So, and it kind of ends like that. In the end, you do find like the classes that suit your play style, and you end up just rocking those. But until then, at least, you have options. Yeah.
It's very nice. It's got a lot of flavor. It's got a lot of character with like the different classes and the random negatives that they have, like the monochrome one or the blind one. That one's kind of fun. Yeah,
the monochrome is neat in that it, like, you know, it kind of reminds you of like playing games on the Game Boy a little bit.
Yeah.
But it doesn't like mess up the gameplay, you know.
Not at all.
The dyslexia and stuff, or no, not dyslexia, the vertigo. Oh dear God, how are you supposed? It's weird though, right? Because the ones that suck the most to get as a player are the ones you want to show people when you show them the game.
Exactly, yeah.
You know? Like, it's like, man, why can't I roll a character with vertigo? Like, that's funny, you know.
Yep.
Or what was the other one? Like when you have no ability to feel pain, so you can't see your hit point bar.
Oh God, yeah.
So you just never know how much health you have. It's so great.
It's terrible, man.
Yeah,
But
that one doesn't bother me too much. It's annoying, but I mean, for the most part, my goal is to not get hit anyway. So, like,
sometimes you get hit a lot, and you got to figure out.
yeah. Well, you have to remember, I beat the game 3 times, so I maxed out the manner. So, I mean, my dudes are beefy. They could take a whooping.
Jeez.
Yeah. How far did you get into it so far? Like,
not far. I got the architect and the what's her name.
Oh, you're still really early.
Yeah.
You haven't even gotten to the part where the game really starts rolling then.
No.
Okay,
no.
Yeah.
I don't know what that part is, but no.
You'll eventually, like, you'll have some stuff unlocked, and then you'll really start building the manor, and then you'll start realizing that your runs through the castle are, like, getting, like, 10 minutes plus easy. So.
I did find, sometimes, a couple times, I find, like, there's, like, different, like, extremely hard zones in the middle of the castle. So, like, you go through, and there's, like, the regular castle levels, you know. And then you go off away, and then there's, like, dungeons inside the castle.
Well, at the beginning, there's, like, a map there in the first room, and it shows you, like, the castle is kind of, like, the middle. And then to the right is the forest, and then down is the dungeons, and then up top is, like, the keep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the first area is the castle. The second area you should go to is the forest.
Okay.
So you should always be kind of thinking, like, a left-to-right approach in the beginning. Then you go to the keep, and the dungeons are, like, the fourth area, because the dungeons are nasty.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did not see that.
Yeah, so, like, if you wander into the dungeons now, you have zero chance. Like, you have to be, like, a perfect dodge hit kind of specialist.
Definitely discovered that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good, though. I mean, you know, if it was me, I'd stay in the castle in the beginning until I clear out, like, the whole castle.
Well, that's what I'm planning to do, because once you die instantly going into those dungeons, you just go, alright, you know what?
Yeah.
I'll stay in this area first, start saving some spots that are good, and then move on from there.
Yeah, the forest is definitely second, though, so keep that in mind. So, like, once you've kind of, you're like, alright, I can handle the castle if I don't fuck it up, like, roll over to the forest.
Okay.
Yeah, it works out good like that. Yeah, I don't know. Something about that game, man. I keep coming back to it. That's a game that I bought a Vita for.
Really?
You know? Well, because I was like, wait, I could play Rogue Legacy on the go? Hell yeah. Why would I not do that?
That makes sense.
And, like, it auto-syncs to the server, so, like, it's really, you know, you play on the TV, and then when you're done, it syncs up, and then you load it up on the Vita, and you're good to go.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, so that was the one that finally cracked me on the Vita, because that was just too much to pass up. Yeah. Okay, yeah, Rogue Legacy, that's a wicked game. I am not a fan of roguelikes, just because the idea that I do all this work and then it's just wasted and gone, it just sucks. I don't like it. But roguelite, which is what they called Rogue Legacy, I like, where it's like, yeah, you die and you lose that character, but you bring something back out to make yourself better for the next run. I can get down with that, yeah. Because now there's, like, an actual progression. It's not just a matter of, like, getting lucky, you know? Which is what I find most roguelikes to be, you know? You just got to get that perfect run, you know? So, yeah, that works, though. Okay, so anything else about Rogue Legacy?
No, I haven't gotten too far in to get more details in there. I was planning on playing this week, but didn't have a chance.
Okay, well, we'll talk more about it another time then, because I can always talk a little Rogue Legacy. That's one of them games you can pop in for like 10 or 15 minutes and bounce out and be like, yeah, that was good.
That's what I've been doing.
Cool.
That's how I've been playing it.
Yeah.
Here and there, die a bunch of times, like, alright.
Yeah, I mean, we're at the part you're at, like 10 minutes is like 100 deaths.
Yeah. Yep.
Alright, so there's definitely another thing we got to talk about. Inside.
Yes.
I was very mad at myself. The Malgadar apologizes, everyone. He fucked up. He didn't finish Inside before last week's show. And Chris, who bought it a week after me, beat it before me. So, you know, shame on me. I suck.
Definitely a shame.
But seriously, I did finally finish it right after the show last week. Pretty much, I went and knocked it out. It only took me like 45 minutes, I guess. I was really close.
You were really close to the end there.
Yeah, if I'd have known I was that close, I probably would have just finished it the last time I had played it. But I didn't realize, because I was trying to avoid guides and shit like that because I heard about all the spoilers and such.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but okay. So where do you want to start this, Chris? I'll let you.
You start with the story.
What's this?
We start with the whole beginning of it and how it's very confusing as to what is actually happening.
Yeah, I didn't really know what was going on. I mean,
you start off as a little boy falling off a cliff, that's the intro, and then you're running. Very awkward running. This kid's got a very awkward running stance or whatever you want to call it. But
he does.
But you're trying to figure out are you running to something? Are you running away? Are you hiding? And you start seeing these guys loading things in trucks, and when they spot you, they chase after you, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the trucks are the first thing that kind of clued me into there being something else going on in the game. Because I was kind of like, whoa, is this some Holocaust kind of shit? They're herding people up and throwing them into these vans?
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a bit disturbing to start with.
Yeah. It's a horribly dystopian future. Horrible dystopian future. It's kind of redundant, but it's needed. Yeah, so first I'm thinking oh, they're just gonna capture you. All right, that's that.
Yeah.
But then the dogs get introduced, and the dog just rips you apart. It's wait, what? I thought they were just trying to capture me. They just let this dog eat my face.
Yeah, they do not want to capture you. They are more than happy to kill you. I mean, I think we talked last week about the whole thing where, oh geez, what was it? Where I got shot at the van.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that was crazy.
Because you thought you were just going to have to keep running. It's that RV one, right?
Yeah, right, because the guy was chasing me and I just kept running.
Yep, I did the exact same thing. I thought that I was just supposed to keep running, and then the guy shoots you in the back. You're like, damn, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
So that was when I realized now I have to actually pay attention. Because the rest of it up to that point, I mean, it's 15 minutes maybe, is pretty much, you can run through things. Whereas this one, you have to stop. I was like, all right, so they're introducing a new mechanic where you can't just boost through shit. All right, and then you get to, I think it's the farm, or no, you're still running from the dogs when you hop that cliff. That wasn't the interesting dog part. No, you get to the farm, and there's chicks, and you notice they start swarming around you. It's just alright, I guess this is cool. This is cute. Cute little chickens. Alright. You go in and you realize you have to use them to actually beat that first puzzle. And I think that was probably the best way to introduce the fact that these puzzles won't be just click buttons, jump over this, dodge this. No, it's you gotta use this, you gotta time the chickens right, you gotta... Oh, man. And, yeah, that was weird, too, because that whole farm was just dead.
The farm was terribly boring. Yep. Well, I don't know about boring, but after that intro sequence, it was not as good.
Yeah.
Yeah, hang on one second, man. Keep the inside discussion going. I wanted to go check something. I'm having some technical issues on this end.
Alright. The whole farm thing was pretty interesting with the whole using the chicks to get sucked into this. I guess it's like a hay bale to knock over a hay bale. Or a hay making thing. I don't even know what to really call it. And that was kind of cool. And then you realizing you have to use that to hop up. I was like, all right, so I'm getting used to these puzzles. These are pretty straightforward puzzles. And then you get to the pig part, where the pig starts chasing you. You have to figure out what you have to do next. It's very strange. It's unique. Each puzzle is very unique, and none of them felt like they were the same exact puzzles. Like they have the same base mechanic. Like you need this piece to use to hop up this higher ledge, or you need to use something in the environment to get to a certain point. And it was very nice, very very unique puzzles with the same basic idea.
What puzzles?
I was explaining how the puzzles, they're very unique, but they all have the same like basic structure. So you have to use like this brick or something in the environment to get up to a higher spot or continue on. Like at the beginning, you use the hay bale to climb up the higher wall, and that basic mechanic is used throughout there. But the way to get that is where the puzzles become very unique.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was saying, like, the pig, you have to use the pig to climb a wall, but you don't know that. The pig's just charging at you.
Oh, dude, pulling the worm out of its butt? What the hell was that?
Yeah, that was some weird
that was weird, man. That was really weird.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Like, that made it very unique. Same concept, just completely different way to tackle that puzzle. And I enjoyed that. It kind of got you into the mood of what the game was going to be like heading forward. Now I'm drawing a blank what comes after the farm. I think it's the whole pretend to be the husk.
I think it's that and like isn't it like the factory stuff after that? Like where
the mind control. It's the mind control part that's next.
Yeah.
That's when you first get introduced into the yellow mind control helmet. And you're just like, the fuck am I? Oh my god, yeah. I'm controlling people. Yeah.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere. Like,
yep.
It's so weird because the game gives you no like tutorials or anything to clue you into exactly what it is you're supposed to be doing. It's
just things that are colorful.
Yeah, but a typical game, you would jump into the helmet and be like, now you can control people and do this to do that and do this to do that. And this game just like, nope, figure it out. You're smart, aren't you? Like,
goddamn brain.
Can't you do this yourself?
Yep. And then it just gets far, like, even more complex after that. Because then the next time you use the helmet, you have to control two people that are running in different directions.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
yep.
they start getting into that weird stuff with it. Mm-hmm. That's okay. All the mind control stuff was fine up until the platform puzzle. And then I was just like, killing me.
With the different levels, that was a little tedious.
That was the point where I started to not like the game.
Really?
Because the puzzles got more involved at that point. And I was liking how quick everything was. Like, it was quick hit, nothing too involved, And then you got to, I felt like from the platform puzzle on, most of the puzzles were much more involved. Like, it was like they were trying to do, like, a scaling difficulty, but it was kind of like, I kind of liked what you had going here, Like, I don't know. Maybe they just couldn't come up with more quick puzzles, or maybe they felt like they had to progressively get more involved. I'm not sure.
Otherwise, that'd be a quick game, and the price value would have to drop, I would assume.
Yeah. All right. So, anyway, can we talk about the elephant in the room? This is the part we didn't get to last week that I would really like to talk a little bit about.
Oh yeah.
The blob. Spoilers.
Spoiler alerts. The husks that you are controlling are all part of this, I don't even know how to describe it, a blob of like human flesh with body parts. It's really weird. Very, very strange. And you end up going into a tank where he's at. You realize that the whole point of this was that blob was being tested on. And parts of it was being used to create clones of the blob, or whatever you want to call it, the husk.
Less importantly, let's talk about playing as the blob.
Oh yeah.
Like I honestly for a second thought that as the blob I was going to retrace my steps all the way back through the game because of the way it started, those first few areas. So I was like, oh, this is awesome. We're just going to like smash through everything and run all the way back to the left now as this friggin' thing, whatever it is.
Yep.
So
it started off that way, and then you realize you're just escaping.
Yeah, and then it kind of goes in some different directions. I mean, you know, you smush the guy. That was like one of my favorite parts, just because like part of the blob is all like covered in blood and stays that way.
Yep, until you hit that
get wet. Yeah. Which is cool too. Like it washes it away. Like they actually took the time to work those effects in. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But then I thought this, and I've listened to some podcasts. Some other people were on the same wavelength as me with this. I thought when I got to the incinerator that I was gonna like crawl into it, like, and kill myself. Like that was the thing. Like I don't want to be an exhibit. Like kill me, you know.
Yeah.
And I kept trying to climb in, and I was like, what's going on? Like, and I kind of would have preferred if that was the ending, you know.
That would have been like, such an anticlimactic ending.
No, the ending we got was anticlimactic. That ending would have actually been like beautiful.
It was the same concept.
Because then the kid's a hero because he got the blob and he released it, and then he was able to put it out of its misery. Like, instead, we're just a beached blob.
Well, I think that was the whole idea, was that the blob just wanted to be free.
Yeah, I'm sure some like D-bag at like a vape lounge with a neck beard probably like loves the shit out of that, you know. But quite frankly,
I doubt it. They probably hate that.
That mosaic artsy bullshit did nothing for me. I was like, that's it. Like all that, and that's all I get. Like I was like, fuck this, man.
I don't know, man. Just throwing yourself in a fire seems kind of stupid.
Like, I like it. The blob's like, fucking kill me. Like, that would have been great. That would have been a great ending.
The blob was fine before they started experimenting, most likely, unless they created it. Then
I'm sure that's exactly what they did. You saw that fucked up laboratory that it was in.
Yeah, they were. I thought they were just taking pieces off of it and using it to grow things. I don't know if they're actually and using that blob to mind control.
What? It was stem cell research? Come on, man.
Yeah, man.
Come on, Chris.
Then what the hell was the blob there for? Why did they need the blob if they were creating other husks? Like, the blob was the husk, and the blob was controlling the husk. Like, that was the whole thing. And I think, because you notice you have to take the mind control helmets off of it, which makes me think that the kid was actually being mind controlled the whole time.
Possible.
Like, you're being brought there so you can free him instead of killing him. Or it, whatever you want to call it. Probably doesn't have a gender since it's both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I did like the blob. I liked that it controlled different. I mean, so there were some neat things about the game, right? Because, like, you play as the kid, you play as the bathysphere, and you play as the blob, you know? And all three of them are very, like, different kind of experiences. But all in all, I'm just like, people who are like calling this like a 10 out of 10 and game of the year are just out of their fucking minds. Like, go jump off a bridge because you're a fucking idiot. Like, it's a cool game. I like it. It's a little expensive, it feels like, at $20 for that much content. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know,
I don't know.
It's solid. It's not like it's bad, but I'd say it's like maybe 7.
I don't think I've played a puzzle game quite like that. I think
the puzzles had craftsmanship to them. I'll say that. There was definitely some thought and some care given into how those were designed and laid out. And the artistry's top notch. Like, if you want to talk about the artistry, that's a 10 out of 10. But that was the same thing with Limbo. I mean, Play Dead just makes games like this. Like, they get that. Like, the cinematic, like, feel to it, like, the vibe it gives off. And even in this game, how they used, like, splashes of color to accent, like, things was, you know, really well done. So, I mean, I'd like to see them make a different kind of game and see what kind of, like, you know, art they could develop for something more traditional, you know. Like a game that had a line of dialogue, maybe? I don't know.
I don't know, man. I prefer this mysterious puzzle game.
It's neat, but I'm like, would that really want to be your third project? Like, you'd want to do another Limbo clone? Like, I don't know.
Because I don't even think this is like a Limbo clone. This thing is, like, far, leagues above Limbo. Like, it's so much better than Limbo. I think the idea of having this, like, odd story or odd setting that they have in it, makes it a little bit better. And when you're talking about like the ending being artsy, I was like, well, it kind of fits the whole art of the game. Like that makes a lot of sense to what kind of game this is. But I think they can keep that, but I think they can expand off of it. I think there's more that they can add to it. They can either make it a little longer or make it. I don't know. I kind of enjoy their whole 2D puzzle game. It's very fun. I still think I don't know Game of the Year because I'm still hanging on the Overwatch thing. But when I look at what's come out since January, and I want to say this is the only thing that sounds interesting is the two games that I listed.
Let's see. Since January, the big problem I have here is I didn't play The Witness, and that seems to be one of the ones people really like.
I have not played that either.
Yeah, I don't feel qualified to really say much since games that came out this year, like Overwatch is probably it. Like I've been playing mostly retro stuff this year, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's not many choices yet because all the big games that could actually take that are coming out starting next month.
No Man's Sky coming soon, man.
2 weeks? Coming in hot. Not even. That's not 2 weeks, is it?
I think it might be 2.5.
2.5, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's 2 weeks from this Tuesday.
That makes me sad, man. I thought it was like a week away, and then I looked at the calendar.
That's not bad.
Yeah, but I think...
Don't worry, it's still summer out there, so...
Yeah, you're in the middle of the year, and there's nothing that's really come out that's really taken that step. Although I would say, because Overwatch is by far a game that everybody can play, everybody can get into, whether or not you enjoy first-person shooters, there's something for everyone. I think that so far could be game of the year. But I mean, there's probably going to be something with like a legit story behind it.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I think Overwatch is going to clean up some awards this year, but I don't think it's going to get game of the year. No. So, No Man's Sky feels like that real hit or miss. I feel like there's no middle ground for that game. Like it's either going to like kill or just fall a little bit short, you know? So,
I think the issue with No Man's Sky is the multiplayer aspect. There's none.
But there is, you know? Like
if you play for 20 years.
Well, no, it depends. I guess it'll depend on how many people really play, right? How fast will this universe get populated with stuff? You know? And it seems like one of them water cooler games, right? Like, it's about, here's what I did on my adventure last night.
That's what I expect it to be like how we would do Metal Gear every week. Like, have a different war story, and I feel like No Man's Sky to be an exploration or trade.
The only difference is, with Metal Gear, it was, this is how I handled that mission. How did you do it?
Yeah,
you know? With No Man's Sky, it's going to be the opposite. It's going to be, I found this fucking green planet, and it had this resource and these animals. It's going to be like, oh, that sounds cool. I found this brown planet, and it had these resources and these animals.
It had acid rain, so I died multiple times.
It's going to be the contrast as opposed to the comparative, you know.
Okay. I get what you're saying there.
But, let's think. So you got No Man's Sky. What else is... Final Fantasy 15? That's
gonna have a shot.
Yeah. That feels like another hit or miss. I feel like that game can end up in the middle. Like they've hyped this thing up so much, like that it's the comeback for Final Fantasy. If this thing doesn't feel like it can land in the middle, it's either going to be what they say it is, or it's going to be a disappointment.
I don't think it's going to be Game of the Year. I don't even think it's going to be a disappointment. I think it's going to be on the positive side. Like it won't drop below like an average game. So like if you did like a scale of 1 through 10.
Oh my god! We dropped the ball on this one, Chris.
What?
I'm mad at myself now. Uncharted 4.
Was that game of the year?
That is definitely the runaway leader right now. It's not even close.
Not Rise of the Tomb Raider?
No. Rise of the Tomb Raider is pretty damn good from what I heard.
I heard it's got very close ratings to Uncharted 4.
Yeah.
But no one's heard of it because it only came out on Xbox first and then PC a little bit later.
Yeah, that staggered release hurt that game a lot.
Yeah. And now PS4 coming soon.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else big, though, is coming this year. Like, do we have a big Fallout 4 game? I don't know. My brain's not working right now.
Obviously, it's Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. So
yeah, Call of Duty does not ever win Game of the Year next.
Wait, hasn't it?
Sorry, man. Call of Duty's good shit, but it's never.
Battlefield won Game of the Year.
Yes, I think you're right. Modern Warfare 4 was probably the only exception to that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think some more about what's coming out this year. No Assassin's Creed, so not that.
Yes, thank you.
I'm drawing a blank. Persona 5's February, so that's next year. Horizon got pushed back. That's next year.
You got a Halo Wars, right?
Yeah, Last Guardian. I don't see that being a Game of the Year contender.
No. Star Ocean came out. I have heard nothing.
Review well. Yeah. I don't know.
You got Batman Telltale. They're probably not going to do anything with that.
Nah, it's feeling like Uncharted 4. I swear to God, I know I'm missing some giant game, and somebody listening to this podcast is going to be like, "You're a fucking idiot, Malgadar. It's obviously X." Like, sorry, man.
I got a list here, right? I'm going to run through some ones that I think would do that.
Okay, good. That's what we need is a list, because my brain is not functioning properly.
So we have Deus Ex, right?
Doesn't sound like Game of the Year candidate, but okay, keep moving.
It could get up there, because Deus Ex games have always been good, but it's very limited on people that play.
I don't think it's got a chance, because first off, it's not mainstream enough. Secondly, I don't think it's going to have a big enough marketing push, since Square seems to be putting their eggs in the FF15 basket.
Very true.
Very true. So I would say that probably doesn't have a chance.
You are an idiot, man.
I know I am. I know I missed. What?
Gears of War, man?
No. I mean, maybe it'll be good. The E3 demo left me very disappointed. But no, I don't think that's Game of the Year potential.
Titanfall has potential if they can change from what they were.
Doesn't feel like a Game of the Year kind of game, though.
It's tough though, because it could be. It could be, man.
I feel like this still feels to me like it's The Witness or Uncharted 4, depending on what you prefer. You know.
Yeah. Nothing's coming out this year that's really big. South Park,
there were a lot of games planned for this year that all got pushed out. So.
Yeah. Actually, Horizon, Persona. You got Resident Evil 7 January, Tom Clancy, and Batman all got pushed back.
Yeah, and I mean, everybody was assuming Mass Effect was this year at the beginning of the year, but they quickly pushed that out. So
I don't think they have a date until like winter.
Yeah, wow. Well, you know what? I was about to say, man, Uncharted 4 came out in May. When's the last time a game in May won Game of the Year?
Didn't The Witcher win?
Yeah, last year was the last time that happened. It hasn't even been that long.
Oh, man.
Oh, Jesus.
Mafia 3 has a big following, so maybe that can do something with that.
Yeah, I've been hearing some rumblings that that's really good.
I'm planning on getting that with my Humble Bundle.
I'll tell you what, the New Orleans setting sounds really cool.
Wait, what? That's in New Orleans this time?
Yeah. Louisiana.
That's going to be pretty legit. I'm going to play the second one because I'm going to get the Humble Bundle, which was like $15. You can get ready for this.
Oh God!
Battleborn. Yeah, guys, let's play some Battleborn.
I assume at this point Gearbox is paying people to take Battleborn. Like,
dude, somebody said on Reddit they went on the servers. I can't remember what time it was. That probably has a lot to do with it. But it was something around like a couple thousand people were playing.
Oh God! I think it's even worse than that because I think on Giant Bombcast this past week they checked the servers while they were recording and it was like 600 people.
Oh God!
Yeah, I mean, it's bad. That game had train wreck written all over it and has lived up to the hype.
So the question is, do I want to continue this?
Well, look, if you're getting it as part of like a Humble Bundle, that's probably not bad. And there's probably that typical Gearbox charm and wit in it. So I think
it definitely did.
I think as part of that bundle, it's probably not a bad game. Are you gonna dump 40 to 80 hours into it? Probably not. But put 5 hours in there, have a little fun with it, and get out. you know.
Like, I played the beta, and I thought it had a lot of character, but they just kept, like, back-to-back-to-back jokes, and it was like, dude, can I breathe? Like, can you guys relax on it? It was like a Kevin Hart movie. Like, just stop talking for a second here so I can, like, enjoy the movie. And that's how Battleborn is with their jokes. It's like, slow it down, let me just get some gameplay, and we can talk.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'll get 2 games that I already own, so I can give those keys somewhere. You already have the pre-sequel, and you don't play Civ 5, so I guess that's out of the question.
Yeah, got to keep that away from me, man. I don't need that drama in my life.
We used to have a dad, and then Civ 5 came along.
Yeah, right. Oh, man. Yeah. So, some people have alcoholism, and some people play Civ, you know.
Yeah, that's how that works, man.
All right, man. We've been going for like 40 minutes already on this shit. You want to get to the meat and potatoes of this sumbitch?
I like meat and potatoes.
Fuck yeah. That's how you stay warm in Minnesota.
Oh, hold on a second. Before we start, quick tidbit. I was going to send you the link. There was a image of the extreme temperatures from winter and summer of Minnesota.
Okay.
This is with wind chill and humidity and heat index, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a little extreme, but just take like maybe 2.
Okay, I'll grade them on the curve here.
So it starts, winter was like negative 63, right? This is all Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
And then,
dude, my dick would fall off like as soon as I walked outside.
Nobody leaves their house. Like it's nope. That's
insanity.
Freeze. That's a nice.
Eskimos are like, dude, it's fucking cold out.
Yeah. So then you have negative 63. I think it was like the lowest, and then the highest was somewhere around like 120.
My God.
That's with heat index, so you're thinking like upper 90s, low 100s.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But like shit, and it's so flat, so it's like it's that's why it's like the temps are so extreme, but it's ridiculous. One of the guys commented on Reddit. He was like, why do people live there, man? I was like, I can't tell.
I don't know why we all don't live like somewhere relatively close to the equator and just leave the rest of the sumbitch barren, but we do. Humans are obstinate, if nothing else.
It is weird that everyone has spread out so much. I mean, it makes sense. You don't want to overpopulate an area, but at the same time, it's like there are some areas that you probably shouldn't be living in.
Yeah, man. Like, there's a reason every other like species on the planet only lives in specific areas.
This is the reason why Canada, the only people that live in Canada, live on like the southeastern part of Canada, right on the border of the U.S., because the rest of it is just ice.
Yeah.
There's no reason for that.
Actually, while we're on the Minnesota kick, dude, I just wanted to say sorry about Denny Green, man.
Oh, yeah. They are.
Yeah, I saw that this afternoon. That was sad.
Yeah, 67, man.
Gave us the greatest rant probably ever. I don't know. Him and Jim Moore are forever tied with playoffs. But, I mean, both those rants are just epic. And
the worst part about that is I didn't get to see it live because I was watching the game. I was like, yeah, fucking Bears, man. That's what I'm talking about. And then, like, I just shut the game off because it was an exciting game. Like, they came back from, like, 20 points. And then I turn on, like, SportsCenter later on, and I hear this rant, and I'm like, I missed that?
Yeah, we were listening to the game at work that night, and I remember it was just like, damn, Bears are going to finally lose, and then...
By a lot.
Because I think they were still undefeated at that point, if I remember.
They were still undefeated.
Yeah, and then they came back and won, and I remember one of the guys was like, yo, the Bears won. And I was like, what the fuck happened? That game was over. Like, I had stopped listening to it because I was like, forget it. That shit's over. Like, back to music or something, you know? And, yeah, I came home and watched SportsCenter and saw that rant. I was like, this is the greatest thing that has ever happened. Like, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was so
It's all defense, man. The team was ridiculous on defense.
Yeah, they really were. Rex fucking Grossman started a Super Bowl. That's how good they were. That garbage truck, like.
Who was the running back? Was it Cedric Benson? Was that who it was at the time?
God, was it Benson?
I think it was Benson. They had Mushin Muhammad, Benson.
Yeah, but they had Mushin Muhammad like last legs.
They had him at the end of his time. So it's,
they had Devin Hester. Like,
oh, the Return King. Yeah.
He scored a touchdown on the first play of the game. Like, on the kickoff. Like, dude was incredible. Yeah.
I like when they tried to move him as a receiver so he could be worth the money he was getting, and he's still with Falcons, right?
He might be. I don't even know. None of them return guys last long. Flash in the pan guys.
I'm trying to think. I feel like those people that have been, but I might be wrong. Yeah.
All right. Let's get to Final Fantasy, because if any people that picked up this podcast for Final Fantasy, they're like, why are these Final Fantasy guys talking about sports?
Fucking jocks. God damn it.
Yeah, man. Roll a D20, motherfucker. Yeah. Anyway. All right. So Final Fantasy. A few weeks back.
I think it's been longer than that.
Yes, it's been many, many weeks. It was episode 30, actually.
Okay.
And we did our Final Fantasy retrospective. And we covered Final Fantasy I to Final Fantasy VII. With the intent to come back and do the other episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're getting back around to it. So we're going to cover 8 through 15. You know. Obviously 15 will just be conjecture.
Cool. Are we covering Dirge of Cerberus first?
No, we're not touching that at all. That's not a Final Fantasy game.
It has it in its title, man. It's actually...
I don't give it. They put Final Fantasy on fucking everything now just to sell more copies. I hate it.
I'm pretty sure it was the sequel to Final
There is
Fantasy
no respect
VII.
for artistry with Square Enix. They're just like slap Final Fantasy on anything.
Market the shit out of this.
Yeah. It's like, how about you let the Final Fantasy name mean something instead of trying to use it to squeeze a little more juice out of the orange, you know?
You gotta do, man.
I guess. I don't know. I hate when business interferes with the art. So
I wonder if they were just trying to create an FPS, or I guess it was third-person shooter.
Well, I got the idea, right? You're going to make a Vincent game, make it something different, right?
Yeah.
So that made sense. It didn't end up being that great. But look, you've been waiting to do this forever. You've been wanting to talk Final Fantasy VIII for a long-ass time. It was in your Core 4 going all the way back to Episode 4.
It definitely was. And the funny thing was, I was like, good, I can go play it, and I still have not played it.
Ah!
So all this
It's hard to go back. It's really hard to go back. There's so much content these days. Like, it's this inevitable, like, pull forward.
Because it was right after the show. The 7 and 8 both went on sale for PC, so I got them. And then I started it, and then I never finished it. And you know what I ended up doing? I ended up getting 13 and playing that instead.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because me and you were kind of playing through 13 at the same time for a little bit there.
Yep, and then I stopped. PAX came, my controller, my thing, what is it? Plug-and-play kit.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Then I just said, fuck it, I'll just play regular PC games. I'm good. But, yeah, I gotta get back to finishing that. But let's go back to 8.
Okay. 8's your baby, man, so go ahead. You take this in whatever direction you like.
Alright, because it might be a surprise. So, we get done with 7. Everyone's like, massive erections, busting loads all over the place. Like, this is the greatest game ever, you know. Best battle system. It's probably still today one of the best battle systems.
Battle system's solid. Materia system is fucking amazing. Can't believe they haven't done a straight rip-off of it yet. But anyway, continue.
And then you get Final Fantasy VIII, which is... I still think has one of the cooler bland stories, but it was definitely very fun to play. You have a shitty main character who's constantly moody for no apparent reason.
Can we jump back to the story real quick?
Yeah, all right.
I just died. You said story. I'm like, well, let's hit these story points real quick, and then we'll get to the characters. All right, so the story. I liked some of the initial idea they had for this game, right?
Same.
Like, they wanted to do, like, a Japanese school days kind of theme, right? Mm-hmm. And much like the Japanese schools, like, everybody wears the uniforms, you know, and they have, like, the formal and the regular outfits and everything. So I liked that. The beginning of the game when you're doing all that stuff is actually kind of cool. You know, the story, of course, starts to fall apart about halfway through the game. and gets like really weird, and it stops making sense really.
Yeah, there's a lot of confusion in there.
For the first half of the game, it actually is going along at a good clip, and everything's fine, and then it really goes off the rails, you know. Also, I know we've already brought this up on the show before, but in case anyone's hearing this for the first time, I will reference people to Squall is dead, which is an interesting theory put together about how Squall dies at one point in the game, and that the rest of the game is a coma dream.
I actually accept that as the truth.
It's really interesting. I don't necessarily know if that's the truth, but if it was, it would probably actually be more satisfying.
That's what I'm saying. It's because the story took that weird turn of events, after he dies, making it a dream sequence, or his last dying thoughts. I'm like, this is okay. This makes a lot more sense than just sitting there and playing and like, what is happening? But I still enjoyed it. Maybe it's because of nostalgia. Maybe it's because it was a Final Fantasy RPG.
There's a lot of solid things in the game. You know, there's a lot to like. So, but yeah, I just really wanted to hit that school days thing, because the early parts of the game when it's like that are really good. I just feel like the development team lost their way a little bit. Mm-hmm. And remember that Sakaguchi-san was busy at the time working on Final Fantasy Spirits Within, the movie. So he was not, if I remember, he was not the director on this project.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm right, Katase was the director.
Katase was, yeah.
Yeah. So something changed in the studio there, and I feel like the team just kind of lost their way a little bit with it as they went along.
That good.
Okay. No, the movie was, oh dear God.
I should just kept them for 8.
Yeah. No, they should stick to games. That's what they're good at. Their movies leave much to be desired. Okay, so you were getting into the characters, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So Squall is like... Dear Lord. And then motorcycles love your house, bro.
I think I'm on, probably Daytona 500.
Yeah, is there, a big circle that goes around your house?
I think so, man.
Anyway, no, so Squall's a dick, but he's like the prototypical soldier, right?
Yeah.
He's got an awesome hairline. Just saying. Says the guy who has the same hairline. I know. Yeah.
He's very weird. All right, let's just point out the dude's wardrobe is odd. He's wearing a belly jacket.
Yeah, he's got the bomber jacket. Yeah,
fur-lined belly jacket, and it's just a weird dude. He's very moody.
Yeah,
he was an orphan.
He was emo before emo was cool.
Yeah, that was always flicking his hair, just not answering people. Dude, why am I playing this guy?
You'd be moody too if you had a scar going all the way across your face, man.
You just got the scar, man. It wasn't
Alright, I was trying to help a guy out, but yeah, you're right.
But I get it. He was an orphan. He comes to see. He's very good at what he does, and people were trying to look up to him as a leader because he's good at what he does.
I could see some of the development idea with Squall, right? Because it's okay, this dude's a stone cold, hard ass, you know? And in the end, it's a romance story, and he falls in love, and he becomes a different person.
Yeah.
So they're trying to develop this contrast as the game goes along.
Yeah.
The problem they forget is that you don't see him as the cool guy in the beginning. You don't get a glimpse into the future to see, oh, he's a cool guy. So all you know is he's kind of an asshole. And I think that turns a lot of people away from the game.
I think so.
Had they done one of those things where it's you see into the future first, and you see Squall as this different guy, then jump back into the past and see him as an asshole, then it's kind of wait, why is he like this? You know? And I think you might have got a few more people to stick around.
Yeah, once you got his backstory, you're able to understand why he is the way he is. But in the beginning, you just, what the fuck is happening? I don't.
Yeah.
Let me play Cypher. Why am I playing this guy, man?
Yeah. So who else? I guess we should talk Renoa next, just because even though she's one of the last ones you pick up, she's kind of the second most important character.
Who you meet first? Yeah, she is probably the second most.
I mean, she is the love interest, so...
The guy who you thought was going to be the most important ends up just dying off. But, yeah, we'll go with Renoa.
Didn't really like Renoa too much. She's okay, but I don't know.
She's your typical, you know.
Her character was like, it felt like so poorly developed.
She was like the assertive. She's kind of assertive, but kind of not.
Yeah, like, she's very wishy-washy, and I think that's what always bothered me about her. Like, I couldn't understand who she was supposed to be.
Yep.
Actually, pretty much all the characters in this game suffer from that problem except two.
Squall?
No.
No.
Squall's the same, because he's a dick and then he's a nice guy. There's only two characters who are consistently themselves through the whole game. Zell. Zell is always Zell.
That's what meant Zell, yeah.
Zell never changes. And Selphie.
Oh, fuck Selphie.
Selphie is... Oh, yeah, Selphie's annoying as shit, but Selphie is always Selphie.
She is definitely Selphie, yep.
So...
Quistis doesn't change.
Yeah, because first she's the teacher, then she's in love with you, then she's a failure and all mopey and depressed.
Yeah.
You know,
okay.
It's like she doesn't even like know who she is. It's like, you were the instructor. You're fucking like
she
emotional was trash.
She was like a year older than me.
She's hot as shit and had a whip though. So I mean, you know, that works.
She was like a year older than him, right?
Yeah.
So it makes sense to why she would be like this love interest, kind of emotional instructor, because they just kind of promoted her too soon. I would assume is the issue there. But yeah, no, she did that. She did have a lot of changes. But yeah. So we were talking Renoa.
Yeah, I don't know. Just I didn't like her a ton.
I didn't even like playing as her.
No. Zell was cool. I liked Zell. You know,
the hot dog.
Yeah, he was a little eccentric, but I was able to dig it because at least, like I said, he was a consistent character. I knew what I was getting.
Yeah. He was hot-headed, but he was a very genuinely nice dude.
Yeah.
So, you know, he was very loyal to who he was with. That was kind of cool.
Yeah. I don't know. Quistis we kind of already talked about. And Selphie. Yeah. We didn't talk about Irvin.
Irvin, the Vincent clone.
Kinda, yeah. I liked Irvin. I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool. Man.
I thought he was a cool dude, but you can definitely see his.
Yeah, he had his like big character flaw where like he actually was a sniper who couldn't snipe anyone. But once you got past that part of the game, he actually becomes pretty cool. I liked his limit breaks with the different ammo types and stuff. I thought that was awesome. Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of liked him. He didn't really get in the way a lot, you know. He kind of just hung back and let everybody else like do their thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you get the three guys.
Seifer, Fujin, and Raijin.
Oh no, I wasn't even going with them yet.
Oh.
Yeah, but no, I guess you didn't even play as the other two.
Oh, well, you were talking about Laguna, Kiros, and Ward.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So
they were all cool. I was like, what the fuck? That's the game I want. Like, give me the Laguna, Kiros, and Ward game.
Weren't they Gobadian soldiers?
What's this?
They were Gobadian soldiers, right?
I think so,
yeah.
Yes. And...
which was the enemy for a while.
It's funny, because, like, Laguna's kind of a douche, like, and he gets himself in a lot of trouble. But I was like, that's what makes the game good, is, like, he gets into trouble and Kiros and Ward get, like, dragged along all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like, it's a shame they don't do more of that. Or do more with that, you know?
It's very true. Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk GFs, dude. I know there's a million... We can't, like, go super in-depth on every game.
Oh, you mean the only...
the only way to do anything in the game?
Summon.
Nah, early in the game it's kind of like that, but there are a lot more options do present themselves later.
Because you have to learn everything, so towards the end, you actually start doing stuff yourself rather than just using your GFs.
We also learn ways to, like, abuse the limit break system and all, and there's some cool shit.
Oh, dude, my favorite was Zell's. His boxing one. It felt like a mini fighting game. It was like, oh, this is cool. Plus the combos.
I was all about Squall's Renzakuken, man.
That was
because
cool.
When you got this special final attack that just started destroying people, it was great. Like that was a must to beat Ultimate Weapon. Like you needed to get that thing off a couple times. I forget what it was called now, but Was it Lionheart? It might have been. It might have been Lionheart. Yeah, I know.
Name, right? I wonder if they did call it that.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
I think that was the special finishing move. Okay, what did you think of GF's system, though?
I kind of liked it. I really liked the summoning sequences, though. That's what really made me like it. But I felt like I wasn't doing anything in the beginning. Like, I felt like my whole thing was just use GFs until they get beat the shit up, and then you start doing stuff. But the whole junctioning of the magic through them was nice, because then you understand the reason you use them is to get the abilities, so then you can use them yourself. So then you end up, you end up leveling your weapons. Is that what it was?
No,
you junction magic to the weapon, so then
yes, you could put like fire or sleep or stuff like that. Yeah.
So when you attack, the magic would actually work on them too.
Yeah.
And certain junctions would boost your stats up based on which magic you put on them. So the whole GF system I enjoyed.
Yeah. It works in some ways, right? Because it's basically like a reconfigured materia system. It kind of gets you to the same place. It just has a more clunky way of doing it.
Yeah.
Like if you can handle complex RPG systems, you'll be fine. People who like simpler RPG systems are not going to like it because it takes some understanding of how all the pieces connect.
Yeah, that is, and I feel like in the beginning, your whole thing is not learning that. Your whole idea, the whole first half of the game, I think, is when you're actually learning how all that works. And so then once you get past the drop off in the story, that's when you really start.
It's so strange, though, right? Because it seems to me, and tell me if you think this, that you would develop like the GF system first, and then you would realize it was clunky and complicated, and streamline it in the next game to the materia system, which does the same thing but in a simpler format. And instead, they actually went in the opposite direction. They're like, it seems strange.
I would assume that they would have taken, like you said, they take the GF system and then simplify it to make it easier. And you're right. When we get to 9, we can go on to that. But they kind of screwed that one. Like, even the materia system was complex, but it still was easy to understand. It was more trial and error than anything. But I feel like with the GF system, I mean, you could do it this way. You could auto the whole game and just have it automatically set for you.
That's true. I never use that stuff.
I did, because I wanted to play around with different stuff. Like, oh, this is fun. All right, let me try this. Let me try that.
Okay.
Yeah, but they should have found a way to take the better system, simplify it, still make it interesting and fun, and then just keep doing that from then on. But I guess that's never really worked for Final Fantasy. Every game has a different battle system, it seems.
Yeah. Did you have any GFs you liked in particular?
I've always liked Ifrit. I don't know why. Maybe because he was the first one, so it's kind of like your first pet. Very simple. Nothing complex about him. Nothing. Like his whole magic system is very easy to understand. Who am I thinking of right now? Is it Quetzalcoatl?
Yeah, that's one of your starter too.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed that one, and Alexander was a beast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I like Cerberus.
Okay.
Because you could get like the auto haste, and you could get the you would cast double and triple on you, so you could start popping off multiple spells.
Yeah.
And like Cerberus was the one you used if you wanted to like always go first in battle and really like speed, you know.
Yep.
I loved Diablos because as you leveled him up, he did more percentage damage, and he was really useful against those fucking toneberries. And he had things like hit junction, so you could get other characters to like break the upper thresholds of the hit limit. Um,
I don't even think I ever got Cerberus.
he was a missable one.
Yep.
Yeah. Trying to think. I mean, Eden was kind of awesome because it did huge fucking damage, but other than that, I don't know. I didn't get too much into it.
Diablos Diablos was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Pandemona was pretty good too, because like there were some speed things with that one, I believe. So, yeah. Leviathan was cool too because it had like the recover command or the revive command, so you could like auto life people like with a command instead of using a spell.
Yeah.
But he's the one I always had trouble and would miss because you got him against the Norg boss, but he was in that armored shell, so you couldn't draw him while the shell was open. So you had to beat him up, get the shell to crack open, and then once the shell cracked open, then you could draw it. And I would always get like wrapped up in the fight and forget. And then I'd have to reset and do it again. And I'd be like, you know. Angry Malgadar.
By the way, it wasn't Alexander, it was Bahamut.
Oh, okay.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess the only other thing really that I could think of that is worth bringing up, or no, there's two things left on 8. One is the FMV quality jumped up incredibly compared to 7. The way they did the full motion videos, like they did so much better. And they developed seamless loading. So they can get it so that, see, when you go back and play it, you got to pay attention to that because it's so crucial to building the tension in certain moments in that game that, like, you walk through an area and boom, the FMV loads right on top of what you're doing. You know,
the one thing I hated.
Then after it ends, there's a short load time as it loads the game back in. But it was so great that they were able to do that because instead of like a load time and losing the tension, they were able to kind of just like move right into it.
Move right into it, yeah.
Yeah.
I did hate the fact that you can move around during those. So like while like the scenes are happening behind you, you can have your characters like run in circles and say, "Why? Like stop me from moving, man." You shouldn't be able to do that. But I get it's early stages of everything. Like there was, let's see if I can remember one specifically. Oh, what's one of the beginning ones? It's the tower. You're going up to the satellite and you're fighting General Briggs. Is that his name? Major Briggs.
Biggs and Wedge.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And so that whole scene, as soon as you hop on the elevator, it goes into the video.
Yes.
So everything behind you, but the whole time you're like, you could just like run in circles for no fucking reason.
Yeah, you could do that in a lot of the FMV sequences in that game. Is move over top of them. Yeah.
It was weird.
It was weird. It was different. They were experimenting with some stuff. It was pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, that's when Square was really the innovators in games. Like they were the ones pushing the envelope.
This is very true.
Yeah. The other thing that I wanted to bring up. Triple Triad. We've talked about it a million times on the show, but if you're going to talk 8, I got to at least just say best minigame ever, except for maybe Blitzball. Blitzball was pretty cool, too.
Blitzball was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think you'll dig it, dude.
Yeah, there's an online community playing Triple Triad. There's an actual game. I can't remember the actual name.
Yes, you were just telling me about this the other night. It sounded awesome.
Yep, it's like an MMO-style Triple Triad. I guess because they needed a lobby, they decided to make the lobby like a tournament grounds. So you can walk around, you can get new cards, you can talk to people, and then you can battle them. And yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I played it. I swear I sent it to you maybe last year. I don't remember when. So the link's probably somewhere amongst the DMs or something in there on Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't think anything else on 8, so I guess we should move on.
Yes, we should.
Yeah. Okay. Final Fantasy IX, a bit of a fall back in quality, if you ask me. Actually, I shouldn't say quality. I should say in my review score. How's that? Because the quality is there. It's a well put together game again.
Yep.
I know a lot of people love this one because they love that it like harkens back to some of the stuff that made like the NES and SNES Final Fantasies good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan because I kind of liked the new direction they were going in. The 4-person party didn't do it for me. I was like, the battle system is just too slow now.
Yeah.
Like the character designs and the artwork of this game just don't do it for me at all. I love the airships, but like, there's a lot of weird, goofy looking shit that I don't like in this game.
Like the princess's mom.
Yeah.
The fuck
God. Her, fucking Freya. I'm like, you're a rat in a red raincoat? Like, what the fuck? Fucking
quinoa?
Yeah, quinoa or whatever whatever that thing is. I don't know. Amaranth, who can fight even though you don't ever see his eyes ever. Yeah, like I see Vivi's eyes. Like, there's no face, but I see eyes.
How does his eyes? I'm so confused by that.
I'm like, what is he? Because I don't remember any other things that looked like Amaranth in the whole game.
No, I don't remember anything from it.
So, yeah, there was just a lot of weird shit in that game. Now, that's not to say I haven't beaten it twice, so it's not like it's that bad. It's just, stylistically, it doesn't really merge with me. The soundtrack I don't like as much. 7 and 8 I feel like are way better soundtracks. There's not many tracks from 9 that really jump out at me.
No, you're right. It seems like a more whimsical sound or soundtrack than the other ones.
Yeah, it felt like a very desperate game. Like, 7 was huge, new highs for the series. 8 came back down. People complained, and they're like, "Let's go back to what worked before. Let's show everybody that everything's okay with Final Fantasy." And it was like, you just misread the tea leaves a bit on 8. Just stay the course. You're doing fine.
Yeah.
So,
I think I had an idea and I just completely lost my train of thought.
Think about it for a moment. Yeah. 9, also another big problem I got with it. Learning abilities through equipment is just always a terrible idea. Don't like it. It's stupid. Makes no sense to begin with. And it traps you in situations where you can't upgrade your equipment if you haven't learned the skill yet. Mm-hmm. So, unless the design curve is so good that you're always finding weapons just about the time you're, like, finishing up the skill on the last one, then it's kind of just a nuisance.
Yeah, I get that. I get that whole concept. It was very weird, but it didn't bother me. It didn't bother me at all.
Yeah, I guess it's just one of the things. I've played a couple games that have that, and they all bother me because of it. Don't like it. Yeah.
Maybe it's because I don't try to min-max a lot of things. So, like, if I get something that's better and I didn't get the ability, I'm just like...
I don't know. I'm weird. I'm like, skills are like your character's development and progression. Equipment is like your stat boost. Like,
that's how it should be.
Yeah. So it's like you just equip shit to get better. Like, I don't know. The other thing, they fucked up the card game. How do you fuck up Triple Triad? It was perfect. Why would you ever mess with it?
Tetramaster. That's what
God, Tetramaster. Yeah. Thank you for reminding me the name. Yeah, terrible. Just not good. Also, they fuck up the end of the game so bad because you fight what seems like the villain of the whole game, and you're chasing this dude from the end of disc 1 through the rest of the game. You fight him, you beat him, and then you have to fight like Father Time after that. It was like what the fuck? Like, I don't know. Were you all drunk? Like, too much sake? Like, what the fuck happened here? This is not a good ending to this game. Like, the ending should have been killing Kuja. Like, that was perfect. Like, and I'm noticing a theme. I complain about game endings a lot.
Yeah.
So
you do that, but I mean, it makes.
You know what? I'm going to open a new. I'm getting into a new line of work. I'm going to be a video game ending consultant. So you show me your game during the production phase, and then I will see your game and I will tell you when it should have actually ended. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to fix everybody's broken ass games.
I think the ending of 9 was fine. They beat Kuja and it disturbs the tree.
No, that part's fine.
Yeah.
It's the stupid fighting Father Time thing they fuck up. And then all the cinematics after that are amazing and great, and it's all awesome. Like, good stuff.
Everybody's all happy.
Yeah. Melodies of Life was a really good closeout song. That was really, really nice. I know I dogged the soundtrack earlier.
Mm-hmm.
It's not bad. It's just not as good as the other two. But like that was a real highlight moment for that soundtrack. I don't know. I love Vivi. I love Steiner. And everybody else could just kind of fuck off, really. I mean, they're all just annoying or not interesting.
Aiko was annoying as shit.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
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 I don't know. I don't really have much more to say about 9. I think I've expressed the fact that it's just not my favorite of the PlayStation era ones.
I can give you that. It's definitely my least favorite of the PlayStation ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking PlayStation ones. Let's talk Final Fantasy Tactics.
Okay.
Probably my favorite Final Fantasy game other than 7.
I didn't play too much of Tactics because I didn't know it existed until you told me.
Yeah, you haven't gotten to the good parts of Tactics yet, man, when that game really gets rolling. I would say it's probably the best story in any Final Fantasy game, period. Like, it's much more mature, it's much more in-depth, it's very Game of Thrones-like. You know, it's a lot of political maneuvering and a lot of political people killing other rivals. Like, it's brilliant, and it's got so much more just like serious adult themes than your typical Final Fantasy, which has a little more whimsy to it, you know. It's classic Final Fantasy. It's a great turn-based strategy game. I mean, people still laud it as possibly the best to this day, 20 years later, so that's pretty impressive. Yeah. I don't know. There's some Tactics Ogre games out there people really like, too.
I wonder nobody ever mentions the Banner Saga. That's a pretty good turn-based game with a nice story to it.
Yeah, that's picking up steam, though. People are talking about that a lot more.
It's a really good game. I guess because the first one came out as like a really subpar indie game. Not subpar, but it just wasn't like a well-known game. It just kind of showed up. But now, I played the first one. I was amazed. Got it on my tablet. It's a damn good game. And the artwork and the music's really nice. But anyways, back to Final Fantasy.
That's okay. Yeah. It's just the adult themes are good. What's great is the job system. So you can change jobs and really customize your party to be what you want them to be. The crossover skills are great because you can take like this skill from that class and like a different skill from another class and really create these like awesome combos. You got awesome things like the Sword Knights who can like project like spectral blades like out of the ground and stuff. Like it's awesome. Yeah, like there's just like really cool stuff they were doing with that. And one of the best soundtracks ever. It's like just a beautiful like Celtic orchestral soundtrack, and man, it hits like every point of the game. It's just right on point. And it's not Nobuo Uematsu, which is
really?
No, it's Masaharu Iwata and Hitoshi Sakamoto actually. So
interesting.
Yeah, and they fucking knock it out of the park, man.
So, when we do our game music episode, is it just going to be Final Fantasy?
No! It's going to be Final Fantasy and Mega Man, and that's it. There's no time for anything else.
Through all the other movies.
Nah, we'll throw some other soundtracks in there, but boy, those two are going to take up a lot of that discussion, trust me. Yeah.
Oh, man.
You could do a whole episode on just the works of Uematsu. He's amazing.
Yes, you could.
I mean, he's just on a level that nobody else is. Like, you just got to really listen to his music and then listen to other people's music, and just the amount of depth to all his tracks is insane. Like, he's got a beautiful mind, man. We are so lucky he ended up doing what he does. There's just some people who are meant to do what they do, and this is exactly what this guy should be doing. So, yeah. Yeah, tactics is just like if you're the active time battle system person and you really like the traditional Final Fantasy battle systems, just give tactics a chance, man, because if you could stick with it for a little bit, it just gets so good, you know.
Oh, I still plan on giving it a chance. I just haven't played anything that takes, like, that's a story that I want to keep playing. I've been playing a lot of short, quick things, you know? Or stuff that I can get in and get out. Whereas if I'm playing a game with a story, I'm like, ooh, nope, gotta continue. This is a good point.
Nah.
I haven't played anything like that in a while.
So you're trying not to get into a committed relationship with a game at this point. Understand?
Yeah, you know, I just want to play around, you know?
Chris is a free agent, Games.
That's how it works.
Yeah. Alright, so I guess we got to go from tactics into the PlayStation 2 era now with 10.
Oh, yes, when they went from 4 discs to what, 2?
1 DVD.
PS2 had one, Final Fantasy X only had 1 DVD?
Yeah.
Oh, man. For some reason I thought it had 2. Maybe because on Xbox 360 we had Final Fantasy 13 that was still a 2-disc game.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, so Final Fantasy X, this is one of my favorites in the series, for sure. What I like, and what a lot of people don't spend enough time talking about, is that they use the stranger in a strange land approach. So
I remember you mentioned this, yeah.
Yes, because you play as Tidus, who is from Zanarkand, 2,000 years in the past, I think, 1,000 years in the past, something like that, and gets flung forward into the future, and the world is completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting is that because he doesn't understand anything that's happening around him or in the world, like all of this is foreign to him, when people explain it to him, it actually makes sense. So they're explaining it to him to teach him, but what they're really doing is teaching you about the world, you know? So it's a great way to introduce the player to the world without it not sounding stupid. Like when you play most games and they tell you about the shit that's in your hometown. It's like, well, my character lives here. Why the fuck are you telling me what's around? I know what's around. My character's supposed to live here. This is weird.
Yeah.
You know? Like, but they have to because they have to teach you the player. In this case, you the player and you the character you're controlling have no idea what's going on. So everybody explains everything to you.
Mm-hmm.
Some people find the main character annoying, I guess. He didn't really bother me because I was like, at least he's not a dick, you know, like that, because that was getting played out. So like I was like, I'd rather have this than the asshole main character. So
I guess that was 3 straight asshole characters.
No, Zidane wasn't. He was the helpful kind too. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't want to, but he just did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I like that Tidus had like energy and emotion, and you know, did they overdo it? Yes, but that's what Square does. They overdo everything.
It's Japanese games in general.
Yeah. but I actually liked him. I thought he was pretty good. You know, Yuna was very interesting. I don't want to spoil like the big reveal about her as a character. Waka was great because he was like the buddy. You know what I mean? Like, best supporting actor goes to Waka, you know, because he's just always by your side, always like, yo, I got your back, man. You know? Mm-hmm. You know, the cast is really good. I mean, Auron is like kind of like the cold, like, you know, grizzled veteran, you know, who saved the world once before. So, like, he's got a cool backstory. And he's got a huge character twist that's like fucking whoa. You know, Lulu is just, well, she casts black magic and has big tits. Enough said.
Yes.
Yeah. Riku's like the poppy princess, you know. And Kamari's just the big monster. Can't beat that. So, I liked the sphere grid. It was an interesting little way to level up, and it did leave some customization if you wanted to kind of get outside the box with it. I liked that you could switch characters in and out actively in battle, so your characters in reserve didn't just stand around while you got killed. That was kind of a great idea. The problem I had with it is that I'm a perfectionist, and I would have to get every character involved in every combat because only the ones who participate would get experience, and that bothers the shit out of me.
Jesus.
So then, when I only need to use 3 people, but I have to make like 4 people defend just so they get an action in combat, so all 7 can get experience, that gets annoying.
It's only annoying if you're a perfectionist.
That's true. You could just not worry about it. That's totally doable.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's really cool because you haven't played it, Chris, so I'll break it down a little bit. Each character has an enemy type that they specialize against.
Ah!
So, like, Tidus hits, like, the fast, nimble enemies because they have high evade rates, and he's a speed character, so he can hit them. You can try to hit them with other characters, but you'll miss a lot. Waka specializes in flyers because they evade a lot, too, when you attack them. But he uses a thrown weapon because he uses his weapon's a blitzball. So, he takes out the flyers. Lulu attacks magical weaknesses. Auron attacks enemies with hard shells.
That explains why you would switch them out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, like, Riku's the thief, and Yuna's the healer, and Kamari's a free agent, actually. He starts in the middle of the board, and you can just take him up whatever of the other paths you want.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So, like, he becomes whatever you want him to become. He's also the enemy skill guy, so there's that, too.
Ah.
But that's what's cool, is, like, so you do have reasons to swap people out, but it just, I'm obsessed. Yeah.
I do think 10 will be the next game that I actually play, that I haven't played.
Okay.
Yeah.
The soundtrack's badass, too. I love it. It's another great one. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Oh, Blitzball. That's the other thing I was going to go to. Blitzball.
Yeah, that looks awesome.
Yeah. I could see you being the guy who saves once Blitzball becomes available and then getting sidetracked with Blitzball and not playing the rest of the game.
Depends on what the story is. You know what I mean?
The story, I like the story.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If it's a good story, I'm
Yeah.
just going to continue the story rather than Blitzball.
Well, like, you're all protecting Yuna as she goes to, like, defeat the creature that terrorizes the world.
Okay.
And he resurrects every, like, 10 years or whatever after you defeat him. Like, they can't kill him permanently. Like, yeah. And, like, she has a cool story because, like, her dad was the last guy to defeat him.
Okay.
So, like, she's trying to, like, live up to that. Yeah, it just... I don't know. I like it. Like I said, I like that Stranger in a Strange Land approach because it makes things work. The game is very walking down a path like 13, but I like the path. Like, the path is fun, and you learn about the world, and then later you get the airship, and then you can just bounce back and forth,
Mm-hmm.
So, it was their first time not having a world map. So, like, there definitely are some things you could see now. If they went back and did it, they'd probably change.
Yeah.
But, like, this is the first time where you just walk across, like, the whole world.
Ah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's good, man. I really like it. I just like that world. I like that setting. I was glad they did a second game in it. So, unfortunately, the second game not as good. Maybe better battle system, class design, but yeah. So, no, definitely, I would tell anybody play 10. Like, you play 7, you play 10, you play tactics. Like, that's kind of how you do it. So, I know people say, "Oh, play 6." I'm like, man, game's overrated. It's good. It's just not. No. So, yeah. So.
Yeah, it seems like a really good
I'm trying to
game.
think like if there's anything else from 10 I want to bring up here, but I don't know. I think that's about it. Yeah, get on 10, dude. Get on that. You know.
Yeah. That's my plan.
So 10-2. 10-2. Wow, there's a lot to say here. Well, because it's good in a lot of ways, but it's very girly. It's like, because it's all about the girls and it's all about dress spheres. And it, like, the first game is Tidus's story. The second game is not. It's about one of the girls' stories.
Okay.
So the tenor changes, and it's like I don't know. I don't want to talk too much about it because it's like the events that happen after 10. So there's like a lot of spoilery stuff, but it's basically like what the world is like now after the events of 10. It's like been a couple years and things have changed now. So a lot of it is like getting reacquainted with the world, what's changed, what's new, and then it starts to develop into this like, holy shit, there's another big problem, we got to fix it, and the combat system goes back to the classic ATB system instead of the turn-based system from 10.
Okay.
You can switch classes in battle, which is kind of cool.
That is nice.
Yeah. It's great because each class has a shit ton of abilities to learn, and there's a lot of really cool classes. There's only the 3 characters, so there's no like character swapping or management or any of that shit.
There's only 3 characters?
Yeah, it's 3 chicks, and that's your party. Now, your mercenary team has a bunch of support characters on your airship, which you start the game with this time.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. It has a different feel to it than 10.
It's quite interesting, yeah.
The soundtrack is kind of lackluster because it's not Uematsu.
Mm.
And it's immediately noticeable. There's a couple of tracks that like stand out and work, but, yeah, it's not the same. So
that seems to be the common.
I like it, but I was just playing it like last year a lot and really liking it again. So
Okay.
it's not like a game you despise. It's just that I think my love for 10 is so high that 10-2 just doesn't quite hit the mark. But damn, if I don't love that battle system, like it works. Yeah,
It's interesting.
another good reason to get a Vita, man. You can play 10 and 10-2 on it.
You can do that on PC.
You can, but you can't. Well, you could take a PC with you, but it'd be a lot to carry on the bus.
Be a pain in the ass, but yeah, it's doable.
I don't know. I guess I'm out on 10-2. I would feel like I'd have so much more to say about it, but I just can't really think of anything in particular at the moment. Yeah, I mean, I think I hit what I can hit without getting into like spoiler territory and all. So
I think you pretty much summed that game up pretty well. I mean, from what I've read and from what I've heard from friends and everything, it's pretty much exactly what you said. Like, it's very girly. The battle system is good. The story is pretty decent, and that's about it. No one ever says anything else about it. It's very like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's got charm, right? Like, it has its own style that does work. It just, I don't know. If you play both of them, you'll know what I'm driving at here, but cannot seem to find the words to explain it properly.
I get that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about doing the other games, but we've been going a little while here, so maybe we'll cut it off here, and then we'll have a part 3. We'll tackle 12 through 15.
All right.
So, yeah, we didn't really get a lot going on in the Twitch chat tonight, unfortunately, but that happens some weeks. Yeah. After last week's kind of crazy Twitch chat episode, it's we got to just get our stuff going and done. Yeah. So Yeah, I don't know. I like it. I can talk Final Fantasy all the time, so this is great. All right, so let's wrap this shit up. As always, right here on Twitch every week, twitch.tv/the_Malgadar. YouTube, if you want to catch the videos after the fact. You want the podcast form, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play. Just search Collective Gamescast. We're on all of them. Twitter stuff. Contact the show at the Collective GC. You want to be on the show? Hit us up there. You got topic suggestions? Hit us up there. You got questions to try to derail the show? Hit us up there.
Please try to derail.
Good luck. Yeah. If you want to get in touch with me on Twitter, it's at the Malgadar. If you want to get in touch with Chris, he's on Twitter too, at ChrisBCGC. You want to annoy a friend of the show, Matt, he is Revenant2150. So, he'll love it if you guys just start sending him messages and he doesn't know why. Yeah. How do you think Matt will take that?
I think he'd enjoy it.
Okay.
You would definitely enjoy that.
Yeah, okay.
Chris, are you trolling me right now on your account? No, that's just fantasy.
I should make another Twitter. I should make a new Twitter account, @trolling Matt. All right. Okay, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. We will catch you next week. And let's do it old school and let's have our man Megaran take us out here. Check him out at megaran.com. He's nice enough to let us use his music. And until next week, guys, keep gaming.
Peace.
Man, I promised I wouldn't get heavy on this joint. I can't help it, man. I gotta be me.
I just can't seem to grow up. I said I just can't seem to grow up. But you know what? What? I don't think I want to. I just can't seem to grow up. I said I just can't seem to grow up. But you know what? What? I don't think I want to. Okay. I was a youngin', maybe 7 or 8, when I was up late playing games 4 hours straight. Babysitter on the couch trying to get a freak on. I'm passing level after level thinking I'm a B-Pong. But little did I know they didn't have any endings. Every couple of levels I would go back to the beginning. Hard lesson to learn, but I recovered fine. Couldn't beat Pitfall and got tired of trying. But when the NES came around, I had to get down. If you ain't have it on the block, then you was bound to get clown. My game was Super Mario, I played it to death. First to get 100 men kicking turtles on the step. Learned that from Game Pro, but it's a shame though. Nowadays video games ain't the same, bro. Too complicated and they ain't worth the price. You know something, they a lot like life, and that's why I just can't seem to grow up. I said I just can't seem to grow up. But you know what? What? I don't think I want to. I just can't seem to grow up. I said I just can't seem to grow up. But you know what? What? I don't think I want to. Follow me here. Say I don't care, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. Say I don't care, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. I know you are, but what am I? 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 I just can't seem to grow up. I said I just can't seem to grow up. But you know what? What? I don't think I want to. I just can't seem to grow up. I said I just can't seem to grow up. But you know what? What? I don't think I want to. You know what? I beat every game in front of me. My peoples wanted none of me. Ran skills in video games, they couldn't front on me. Mom knew how to punish me. Take away the chords till I thought they used the AC adapter from my keyboard. That's when I knew that it was something amazing. My boys would get in trouble, I was cool cause I stayed in. Latchkey kid, home alone like Macaulay. And 20 years later, hosting Halo parties. Cause I just can't seem to grow up. I said I just can't seem to grow up. But you know what? What? I don't think I want to. I just can't seem to grow up. I said I just can't seem to grow up. But you know what? What? I don't think I want to.
Songs for anybody who's ever been teased for being a nerd. Don't sweat it. It's gonna be be alright, man. Fads come and go, but intelligence, it never went out of style. Keep reading them books, though. But, lose the suspenders and the pocket protector. Mega Ran signing off.